There was a pickaxe in the side of my head. I can hear the doctor's voice. My adrenal glands are shot. My histamic reactions are in overdrive. My thyroid is borderline underactive. And I'm nearly diabetic. That pickaxe was a nerve down here. It felt like an axe. It was spasming. My body was calling in a debt. Fortunately, the good thing is life isn't nearly always like this. Do you remember a time when life was magical? When anything was possible? When time was infinite? For me, that was 3. It looked like this. Yeah. Now, at 3, I was also a big girl. I know, I had a little sister. But as a big girl, what that meant was that I had to be responsible. So I grew up to be responsible, because that's what you do as a big girl. Do any of you relate to this? So I did what any responsible big girl does. I grew up, I went to university, I got a good job, I got a great career, and I climbed the corporate ladder. There's always another rung in the corporate ladder. There's always another goal to be achieved. Then there was that pickaxe moment. I was a fully paid up member of the Rational Action Society. If you wanted to analyze it and you wanted to get it done, I was the woman for the job. Now, what that meant for me when that axe hit, I lost sight of something important. The funny thing was, in my business life, I knew it, but I lost sight of a model I used in my business world, in my personal world. Now, that model is used by successful people and successful people around the world. So it's not something I invented. I observed it, saw the complexity out there, distilled it down to its essence, and then codified it. It's really practical. May I share? Cool. Okay, it begins with, because we're in the modern world, and it's all about being rational. And then if it's rational, that will lead to action. So as I said, this was my world. But have you noticed there's something that's not quite true about that model? For example, it's rational to exercise. But do we? It's rational not to smoke. But people do. It's rational to save for our future, both personally and in business, but we don't always. It's rational that climate change is happening, but are we taking action? So the rational action kind of world, this presumption that this is it, and the whole thing is all we need, isn't quite true. In my paid-up member of the rational action world, I noticed something. I started in technology, very rational. I moved across to processes, very action-oriented. And then, curious why things didn't happen, I started looking around. And I realized there was something missing in this model. Do you know what it was? People. I know, shocking, huh? So in this world of rational action, there's people, and people like us, if we love it, we might do it. If we hate it, no, not going to happen. So the missing part of this model was we actually had to put feelings in there. Now, in my rational world, that was not an acceptable term to use. Feelings were not meant to be seen in corporate. But there they were. They were powerful. And then I looked at this and I was like, okay, this is much, much better. But have you ever noticed with feelings, you can take something like love, and love can be, or it can be pulled together and used as a force that really creates change. Or take a feeling like anger. It can just be destructive and we'll go out there and or it can be channeled equally powerfully. We've seen this with people like Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, well-known. Or we can see it in the modern world with people like Oprah Winfrey, with Queen Elizabeth, and Malala. It turns out there's a fourth element in this model. It's values. And when you start putting these together, it gets very, very powerful. But let's have a quick look. 87% of the Standard & Poor's stock market index is intangible, things we can't touch. Just 13% is real. 95% of our decisions do not come from the rational mind. And there's something even deeper. Have you ever felt frustrated, seen someone mistreated, and felt something rise up inside? It turns out that there's things that are past being human. Other beings also feel that fairness is a value worth caring for. So values are an important part of our existence. So I put this model together and used it in my corporate work. And what I noticed was when we were doing projects that had these four things, it was really good, and when we didn't, it didn't work so well. But a good model is good when you test it out, so let's have some fun testing it. Ta-da, the values quotient. Let's dial it down. Let's take values and feeling totally out. Let's play with this one. News used to be about information. Let's take that out. So now it's about fear. Let's sell you fear with a little bit of ghoulish curiosity of the drama that's happening elsewhere in the world. Banking. I was a banker, so I'm calling it on my own industry. Used to be about trust and exchange. And then it got all about making money from somebody else. There was something when the values got lost. There was power earlier, and then it's lost. Now, it's not just business. Cosmetics. Honey, let's make you insecure. We want to put makeup on you. There's something weird in this world that says we should be selling from the negative. The fear, the insecurities, and things like that. Look in the business world. We've seen Uber more recently suffer from a lack of values. Let's dial that back up again. We see organizations like Facebook doing well. This is what happens. See, I need my structure. Airbnb is also values-driven. You take many old companies have very strong value systems that hold them together through thick and thin. So there is power in this idea of values. Now, for me, what happened? When that pickaxe hit, I had lost sight of my values. I had been so tied up in this rational action world, the things that were important to me, I'd lost. Now, it was a journey to start reconnecting with them. The first phase was about rediscovery. I didn't have words. I just knew something was out. All I could do was say, this pickaxe has hit me. That's a signal. What's right? I developed a really simple test. Does it lift me or does it lower me? And I used that to navigate. After a while, I could really start feeling that clarity of, and then the things that kind of kept me down. You know that phrase, you need to be grounded? Heard that one? I found there was two interpretations. There was being grounded, being present, and then there's you're grounded. Remember that one as a kid? Wings, clip, behave yourself, don't do anything. Go to the naughty corner kind of thing. That kind of grounded when we've lost it. My next stage was realizing I actually did know what they were, and I could put words to them. So I wrote them up on the wall where nobody could see them. I was scared other people would dismiss me if I shared my values. The next stage and phase of this moved on a bit. I got comfortable starting to live them, actually really putting them in action. And that was pretty cool. I could start saying, the things I really, really want, I'm starting to do that. So I have a question for you. What are your values? Do they lift you? Do you feel yourself expand? For me, values are like wings. Wings are powerful. Values are powerful. Take a world without wings. You know, we have fast cars, really cool, thrust, inertia, momentum, all sorts of good things. But a world without wings, you lose three things. You're stuck on the ground. You're on a road of somebody else's definition, and you can't get over water. So values are pretty cool. The other thing is the fastest falcon is 3 times faster than the fastest cheetah. So if you want to be the fastest thing out, get wings. So I started playing around with this, trying out what worked and what didn't work. And then at stage 3, I got to this point where I felt I was truly living this space of balance. In the middle, being able to move between my rational action world, the feelings and values, and it was kind of coming together. My corporate work had both sides, my artistic work had both sides. But there was that pickaxe showing up again. I was still missing something. It takes courage to share my values. My values are pretty simple. I believe we can live in a world based on trust, passion, love, and joy on a living planet. I don't like the alternative. Depression, disconnection, despair, destruction. I had to consciously choose my values. In my life, I've been sexually abused, raped, lived through riot, revolution, coup d'etats. I've lost my job. I've lost loved ones. I've had brushes with death and cancer. Now, I share these because I have dents. Many of us have dents. I just found for me, values are the way I could live me and not my dents. So they are powerful for me. So then the next phase was having had the courage to share and start showing up. Was moving along and starting to navigate the currents of what does it actually mean to live in this particular way. The next time the pickaxe hit, it was less of a pickaxe. It was more of a baseball bat, you know? Whack! It came in loud and strong. I lost a relationship I cared about. Clients that had been long-standing stopped paying. And I was in a situation where I really didn't know what to do. I'm on Skype talking with my mom, and she goes, "What are you going to do, Anna?" And this voice in me said, "Art." How you support yourself was the next question. So there I am, no home, no money, and art. The craziest thing. I was being called to live my values at a greater level. Can I trust I can step forward and there's something there? Passion. Will I live my passion and actually have the art? Love. Will I be open to receive all the love and support that's around me to make this possible? Joy. Will I enjoy myself while I'm doing it? And do it in a way that's living and sustainable. So that was a pretty big step. What it led to was showing up properly as an artist. I started creating paintings that expressed the feeling I wanted, to be uplifted, passion, joy, ecstasy, bliss, love, and to fly. I created my first set of wings because I wanted to fly. Me with my wings. I didn't want little wings. I wanted wings that could fly. And then I found once I'd created my wings, I could start giving them to other people and sharing them with other people. At different ages and stages. This was a lot of fun, Mr. Universe. That was cool. And experiences. My question to you at this moment is, do you have your wings and are you enjoying them? Then came the next stage of this, refining and exploring. I realized I had a few more values I was learning to live in the process. I had to have courage to show up. Trust with the courage, showing up with the passion. And on the love side, I actually had to go and value what I created. Values are intensely powerful. They are the things that define our world. And the clearer each of us is on what they are, the more lift you can have, the further your wings can take you. And that is why when I was asked to be artist in residence here, and Ree said to me 8 weeks ago when got the email to say, would you be artist in residence? It was, what would be an artwork that would express this? What would represent the infinite possibilities of the values that Ted and I have in common? It's that ideas are butterflies. If any of you remember chaos theory, that butterfly over the Amazon, the butterfly wings that change the world. And so we created it, the backdrop, out of the most intangible of items. Light, space, and paper. And Ree will tell you more about the story behind it. So, enjoy your journey of your wings, wherever they are. I have no idea what the next stage will be, but it will be fun. And live your values.